From the Cronkite studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
Another election 2016 controversy may be headed to the court, this time over an attack ad in the Maricopa County Sheriff's race.
And how safe is your home? The newest way to protect yourself from neighborhood crime.
Plus, wastewater, the unlikely industry that could be using it to brew you a cold one.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Carla Liriano.
And I'm Cassie Ronda. Thank you for joining us.
New tonight, an attack ad may lead to a court case for Sheriff Joe Arpaio. Paul Penzone's campaign says it plans to file a lawsuit for defamation. The attack ad can be found on Vimeo and has run on several local TV stations. It alleges that Penzone assaulted his ex-wife in 2003. Penzone addressed this issue back in 2012 when the first attack ad surfaced. His ex-wife provided an affidavit which says, in part, Sheriff Arpaio's campaign commercial portraying Paul as physically aggressive during our marriage was inaccurate and misleading. It was, in my opinion, dirty politics, and the use of family against an opponent is totally off base. Penzone's campaign also released this response to the latest ad, saying Arpaio apologized to him back in 2015 for running the ad.
Now, in typical true political form, the sheriff has flipped on what he apologized for and is trying to use it again to win an election where he's undeserving to keep this office.
Arpaio's campaign issued this statement. The campaign is not concerned about Penzone's threat of a lawsuit. The ad is supported by police reports and court records, including a sworn statement from Paul Penzone's ex-wife. These records are available for anybody's inspection. Every embarrassed politician threatens to file a lawsuit, but so far, Paul Penzone's law firm hasn't identified a single inaccuracy in the ad. The voters have a right to know about the candidates they choose from.
Meanwhile, Pinal County Sheriff Paul Babeu is making his case to become Arizona's newest congressman in a debate tonight on Arizona Horizon. Republican Sheriff Babeu and Democratic former state senator Tom O'Halloran both want the open seat in Congressional District 1, which was vacated when Ann Kirkpatrick challenged John McCain for his Senate seat. The debate is less than 30 minutes away here on Arizona PBS.
In a historic move, the Arizona Republic endorsed Hillary Clinton for president. This is the newspaper's first endorsement of a Democratic candidate in its 126-year history. The Republic is only the latest of traditionally conservative newspapers to endorse its first Democratic candidate for president. The Cincinnati Enquirer and the Dallas Morning News have also endorsed Clinton. And the First Lady showing her support for the Democratic nominee, Michelle Obama spoke this morning in Philadelphia campaigning for Clinton.
Experience matters. Preparation matters. Temperament matters. And Hillary Clinton has it all, because we know that being president isn't anything like reality TV. It is not an apprenticeship.
Donald Trump continues to boast his business skills as a major part of his campaign. The campaign trail continued today, taking Trump to Chicago. The Republican nominee spoke in front of the Polish-American Alliance, using his past jobs experience to try and gain support.
I'm very good for jobs. In fact, I will be the greatest president for jobs that God ever created, that I can tell you. I'm very strong on jobs and the economy.
On Capitol Hill this morning, Congress rejected a veto by President Barack Obama for the first time since he became president. The House and the Senate voted to veto his legislation and allow the families of 9/11 victims to sue Saudi Arabia for the country's alleged support of the attackers.
Criminal justice and immigration activists joined forces today in Washington on the issue of for-profit prisons. Dylan Eddy was there and joins us live from our Washington bureau with the details. Dylan.
The protesters were carrying boxes of petitions with 250,000 signatures demanding an end to this controversial industry.
Shut them down! Shut them down! Shut them down!
These protesters gathered outside the Department of Homeland Security to demand the shutdown of the nation's for-profit prisons.
Today, we call on Secretary Jay Johnson and the Department of Homeland Security to stand with people over profit.
Jaime Valdez spent a year and 7 months in Eloy, Arizona, in what he describes as the deadliest detention center in America. I was put in solitary confinement for raising my voice and trying to organize to defend our civil rights as human beings that we are. Elizabeth Padilla said her husband was battling cancer while he was incarcerated in a prison in Washington state.
He was there for about 6 months. They never gave him any type of treatment other than pain medication.
Arizona Representative Raul Grijalva, who has called for the abolishment of for-profit prisons, said this in a statement. The corporations who profit by locking up desperate adults and children undermine our decency as a nation. DOJ's announcement that it would cut ties with incarceration profiteers was welcome, but long overdue. Valdez says he hopes that the hundreds of thousands of signatures will create urgency on the issue of for-profit prisons.
Today we hope that they can listen to our prayers about what we're asking, because it's inhuman that they are making money off our suffer.
We reached out to CCA, the private owner of the Eloy Detention Center, for a statement. It has yet to respond. Reporting live in Washington, Dylan Eddy, Cronkite News.
Security in your homes. What really makes you safer?
Coming up on Cronkite News.
We're taking a look at how residents in Tempe are using technology to keep safe.
Plus, why wastewater may be making its way into Arizona breweries.
I finally found my hallelujah. I've been waiting for this moment all my life. Now all my dreams are coming true, yeah. I've been waiting for this moment. It's good to be alive right about now. Found my it's good to be alive right about now.
Tickets are now available for the annual Walter Cronkite Award for Excellence in Journalism Luncheon, held Monday, November 21st at the Sheraton Grand Phoenix. Join media industry and community leaders in honoring this year's recipient, award-winning journalist and CBS Evening News anchor Scott Pelley. The annual Walter Cronkite Award for Excellence in Journalism Luncheon. cronkite.asu.edu/luncheon.
A series of early morning thefts has residents in a Tempe neighborhood taking security into their own hands. Reporter Joey Carrera is caught on camera learning about an app used to connect communities and keep them safe.
The Optimist Park neighborhood off Baseline on the 101 has residents from nearly every generation. And when the quiet community started having troubles, they turned to technology to try and keep safe.
A neighbor approached me and told me that his garage had been broken into. He knew that I had cameras on my house, and he asked if I could look to see if there was any evidence.
Gary and Sue Rossworm have cameras that cover virtually every angle of their home.
At one point, we noticed this white truck with a large trailer go around the block several times. We noticed he was shining flashlights, a powerful flashlight, into yards.
The footage quality wasn't good enough to make out a license plate number, but it gave police an idea of whom to look for.
Our officers that are responding will look for anything that could help us solve the crime, which could include camera systems.
Knowing that thieves may be lurking in their neighborhood, residents took action and downloaded a social networking application designed for communities called Nextdoor.
We have 74 in our quadrant of this neighborhood who have joined it. We're looking out for each other and posting anything suspicious.
Tempe police say security precautions are an excellent way to safeguard your home, but they remind everyone to exercise caution when it comes to criminals.
If they feel like there's a danger in there, we want them to call us. We want them to reach out to us.
The culprits have not been caught. The Rossworms are upgrading their security system to send a strong message.
The Nextdoor app has other uses too. You can post a party, find a babysitter, or make a friend. It's available for download in the Google Play and the App Stores. In Tempe, Joey Carrera, Cronkite News.
Civil rights activist Reverend Jarrett Maupin, who was arrested Monday during a Tempe protest against police brutality, continues his effort with a new billboard. He says the billboard will promote anti-violence and anti-racism. Several billboards will be placed along the I-10 near 27th Avenue. And the Yuma Police Department today announcing their officers will receive body-worn cameras. The purchase comes in part from a federal grant by the U.S. Department of Justice. The department says funds will be used to establish a pilot program where cameras will be tested and policies will be put in place. Yuma is one of the 106 law enforcement agencies in the nation to receive the grant.
Some good news for Arizona education. 4 schools have been recognized as National Blue Ribbon Schools. The U.S. Department of Education gives the award to honor overall academic excellence and progress in closing achievement gaps. The 4 new Blue Ribbon schools are Fuller Elementary School in Tempe, Vista del Sur Traditional School in Laveen, University High School in Tucson, and Jack Barnes Elementary School in Queen Creek. They will be formally recognized at a ceremony in Arlington, Virginia in early November.
Native Americans have been fighting to control their own future after centuries of forced education. Cronkite News' Claire Caulfield was at the White House for the signing of a historic agreement that helps many Navajo students achieve that dream.
This signing ceremony with the U.S. Department of Education and Interior ensures the Navajo Nation, for the first time, will be in charge of most of their schools in Arizona, New Mexico, and Utah.
You're not dealing with the complexities of 3 different states and 3 different sets of rules as you take on how to instill a great education in your children who will be sitting in your chairs in the future.
All 66 schools funded by the Bureau of Indian Education will now be able to establish a single system of standards, assessments, and accountability.
We've been wanting to do this for quite a number of years because we have the capacity to become a state-level education system, and that is our goal, to be able to move forward, and this will help us move even more further ahead in making that happen.
Navajo leaders say the agreement allows the schools to focus on their language, culture, and traditions. They say this helps make amends for the years when students were punished for speaking Navajo.
When I went to school, we were prohibited from speaking our language. They brought different types of punishment: squirting soap in your mouth, hitting your palms, standing against a wall for an hour or more. Our children will not have to go through that.
The White House also announced $25 million to support Native youth and educators. Northern Arizona University and the University of Arizona will receive almost $400,000 to support Native students in professional development. The Gila River and Quechan Indian communities will receive over $1 million to support their Native youth. In Washington, D.C., Claire Caulfield, Cronkite News.
It's National Drink a Beer Day, and the Arizona Craft Brewers Guild is celebrating with a new idea for brewing, using treated wastewater in the brewing process. The Brewers Guild is working with Pima County Water in an effort to save water while brewing beer. While the Guild admits the idea is strange, they released this video to show how the partnership would provide them with water treated to be the same as the quality that comes from the tap. The move could help save millions of pints of water in the brewing process. The Arizona Craft Brewers Guild says the only hurdle is public perception and obtaining grant funding. Final word on the grant will come in November.
Plenty of Arizonans using the hashtag National Drink a Beer Day, perhaps because they are the 5th most beer-loving state. This according to Budweiser's Beer with Your Buds national survey. The survey asked people across the nation what their top drink of choice was when going out with friends. 47% of Arizonans chose beer as that drink. The top beer drinking state, that's Massachusetts, where over half of the people surveyed picked beer as their #1 drink.
A controversial project building on a Scottsdale land preserve.
Coming up on Cronkite News, one man's effort to keep the McDowell Land Preserve free from development.
Because of the extra moisture passing through Arizona these past couple of days, it has felt a lot hotter than usual around this time of year. But will this uncomfortable humidity stick with us for the rest of the week? I'll have your full forecast up here next on Cronkite News.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I'm always searching to feel like I fit into something.
We are the people that we are because of our past.
I'm just one of many who stopped being silent.
It's just proof of how far we have come.
Make sure in all the hustle and bustle, we don't lose sight of why we're here.
It all boils down to communicating the lives we live.
If you look closely, they've got a story to tell.
It connects with you in a very deep way.
We wish you love, peace, and soul.
Come with us on this great adventure.
Come and play with us.
Onward and onward.
Good ideas open up a whole new world of possibilities.
The more you know about history, the more you know about yourself.
The sky is the limit.
Where I go, there you are.
A controversial project that has been in progress for the past 20 years is hitting stride, but not without some resistance from the public. David Caltabiano joins us live in Scottsdale with a closer look at the debate. David?
Yeah, I'm at the McDowell-Sonoran Preserve in North Scottsdale, one of Arizona's largest preserves. And right in this location is where the Desert Discovery Center is supposed to be built, which has prompted one man to take action.
The thing magical about it is the scenery.
Howard Myers has enjoyed the McDowell-Sonoran Preserve for decades.
I've been hiking here for 20 years, which was before the city even started buying land.
With that land, the city plans to build the Desert Discovery Center.
Preserve is the attraction. That's what brings people here, and putting a building in it will only degrade it, not enhance it.
The preserve is located in North Scottsdale off Thompson Peak Parkway. Right now, the plans are to put the Discovery Center next to the Gateway Trail, the most popular one in the preserve. Myers started a petition to demand residents be allowed to vote on any project on the preserve.
No, no, no.
The petition brought protesters to City Hall for the meeting on the issue.
We demand that you pull the plug on this project to legal opinion, and the charter can be modified to explicitly guarantee our right to vote over this project.
But plenty of project supporters also showed up at the city council meeting.
That my great-grandchildren have the same appreciation for the preserve and for the desert that I grew up with. I think the DDC is a great way to move that forward.
The room was packed as the audience waited to hear the council's decision.
This petition has nothing to do with the DDC. I believe its intention is to create obstacles for the DDC.
That motion passes 4-3.
The council voted not to act on the petition. With the denial of a public vote, Scottsdale City Council is expected to move forward with the planning of the Desert Discovery Center. Yeah, and even though the petition was struck down by the Scottsdale City Council, Myers said he will still fight the DDC, either with legal challenge or referendum. Live in Scottsdale, David Caltabiano, Cronkite News.
A controversy over a proposed hotel and tram development in the Grand Canyon is heating up again. Navajo Nation lawmakers will soon discuss the fate of the Grand Canyon Escalade project. Cronkite News reporter Caitlin Greno tells us what happens next.
The proposal is to build a tram and other tourist attractions on the Navajo Reservation where the Little Colorado River and the Colorado meet. The Save the Confluence group said the Escalade would harm sacred land.
Our culture, our way of life, it's under threat of a desecration because the developer chose not to listen, chose to tell us that the site where you pray is not a sacred space.
The Confluence partners are developing the Escalade project.
You can have a project that improves the lives of our people and then also retain the beauty of our land.
The Confluence partners say the Grand Canyon Escalade project would bring in about 3,000 jobs and boost economic development for this generation and generations to come.
We have to think 20 years into the future, 60 years, 100 years into the future. How will we be? We have thousands of people who are unemployed who have signed and said, I want this project to come through and I want a job.
Others oppose this project because they believe the natural environment should not be touched.
We don't support it because of the implications of the disturbances that it will create in the natural beauty of the Grand Canyon. How do you compare a few jobs to the destroying of nature, as it were?
Save the Confluence says some things are more important than jobs.
We need jobs, but not at the expense of our culture.
No end yet in sight to this battle over the development at the Grand Canyon. In Phoenix, Caitlin Greno, Cronkite News.
The next public hearing is scheduled for October 10th. Then the final decision is up to the Navajo Nation Council.
A major success for Arizona state parks. Governor Doug Ducey announced that the state parks achieved a record 2.7 million visitors, contributing over $16 million in revenue for the 2016 fiscal year. Revenue rose nearly $2 million from 2015. Ducey says that Arizona parks exemplify the best of Arizona. And with cooling temperatures across the valley, it may be a great time to hit up some of those parks and get outdoors.
Sarah Lichterman is in the Weather Center with your full forecast.
There's no surprise with that attendance, as we have had some pretty dry weekends so far. But as you can see, over the past few hours, moisture has come up the south of Arizona and is making its way out west. But heading into tonight, you'll only see some isolated showers. And then tomorrow, heading into Thursday morning, going off to work, you'll start to see rain accumulate in the upper northern part of Arizona. But by Friday early morning, it will make its way fully out of Arizona. Here's what to expect for the rest of today. At 6 p.m., 10% chance of rain. But what we really want to focus on is at 7 a.m., there's a 20% chance of rain tomorrow morning. But heading off to leaving work at 3 p.m., there are a slight chance of thunderstorms with a 20% chance of rain. Maybe bring an umbrella to work tomorrow morning. This is what to expect for the rest of the week. 20% chance of rain on Thursday, as I said. Friday, 10% chance of rain. But going into the weekend, it does dry off for that Cardinals game on Sunday. I'm Sarah with your Cronkite weather.
The weather cooling down, but ovens at the Phoenix Rescue Mission are heating up.
Coming up on Cronkite News, how a local nonprofit is using cookies to do a lot more than satisfy a sweet tooth.
5 terms in the Senate, 3 terms in the House, 2 figureheads of Arizona politics, 1 debate before Election Day. Arizona PBS and the Arizona Republic bring you the 2016 U.S. Senate debate for the state of Arizona. Republican Senator John McCain and Democratic Representative Ann Kirkpatrick face to face on the future of our state, our nation, our world. McCain versus Kirkpatrick, the 2016 U.S. Senate debate for the state of Arizona, Monday, October 10th at 7 p.m. here on Arizona PBS.
Hi, I'm Charlie Rose. As part of the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication at ASU, Arizona PBS is providing a state-of-the-art venue for the next generation of journalists. From newsrooms in Washington, Los Angeles, and here in Phoenix, students engage in real-time, real-world news reporting, broadcast production, and online innovation. The Cronkite School and Arizona PBS working together in new ways to bridge the classroom to the community in the digital age.
The Phoenix Rescue Mission has invested its time in cookies to help the homeless population. Cronkite News reporter Alicia Gonzalez tells us how.
Once I got past the smell of cookies baking in the oven, I was able to learn just how important those cookies can be to the families who came to the Phoenix Rescue Mission for help.
My mom was doing bad, like she got into the habit, like she got addicted to drugs, and then she came here to get me back, and then when she got me back, then she worked in the kitchen for a little bit, and then they hired her to catering.
Mason Rader has been living at the Phoenix Rescue Mission's Changing Lives Center for the past 2 years after being reunited with his mom. His mom is now the manager of Mission Possible Catering, which is the second of the 2 businesses created by the nonprofit.
This program has changed my life completely. I mean, 100%. I am a completely different person, I think, than when I walked through the doors. I mean, I feel that I have hope for my future. I have hope for my son, that I can go out and do and become a part of society and be able to make my way with me and my child.
Like other women at the center, Raider is a part-time employee who is getting training that will make the transition back into society much smoother.
We don't want our graduates to graduate our program and then go flip burgers, because that's not a sustainable wage. And many of the women here have children, and they really can't support their families on a minimum wage job. So we're teaching them to go in at more of a manager level at a restaurant.
Kathy Coca, Executive Project Manager at the Phoenix Rescue Mission, says they are one of the few providing solutions to our valley's growing homeless population.
I've never worked in a kitchen before I came here, ever. And now I'm like running this catering thing, and we have girls that are clients that come into, catering, and we rotate them out of the kitchen. So I'm constantly training new girls.
The program usually takes about a year and graduates about 50 women each year. Phoenix Rescue Mission is in the process of developing a third business right now, which will extend their options to breakfast and lunch. In the Broadcast Center, Alicia Gonzalez, Cronkite News.
Cronkite News is proud to be the news division of Arizona PBS. Here's what's coming up on Arizona Horizon and PBS NewsHour.
On the next Arizona Horizon, a debate. We'll hear from Paul Babu and Tom O'Halloran, who are running to represent Arizona's 1st congressional district. A congressional debate on the next Arizona Horizon.
I'm Judy Woodruff. On the next NewsHour, the challenges African American women face in the world of entrepreneurs. That's Wednesday on the PBS NewsHour.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us.
For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.